Okay, today we are doing, well, they have mode, mean, median, and range, but typically you're going to hear mean, median, mode, and range. Okay, these are called central tendencies, so you may hear them referred to that way as well. But we're going to go through each part, and we're going to talk about what each part means. Okay, so we're starting with the mean. The mean up here, in order to find the mean of a set of data. Okay, the way I always remembered what mean was is that the mean teacher gives you your grade. Okay, well, how do you get your grade in class? The teacher averages all of your grades together. That's how you get your report card grade. So mean is average. So we're going to define the mean. It is data described by a single number. And I'm just going to put the little hashtag sign for number. So they have a list of math test scores. We got a 79, an 87, a 99, 97, 86, and a 92. Those are all of the math test scores for maybe a quarter. Okay? To figure out what the test average or the test mean is, what you're going to do is you're first going to add up all of those grades together. You're going to add all the numbers together. Okay? So when you add them all together, you're going to end up with, I'm just going to list it out. We're not going to actually solve. I'm going to help save time. So we're going to show how we would do this. We have 79 plus 87 plus 99 plus 97 plus 86 plus 92. And that equals 540. Okay, so when you add up all of those numbers, you end up with a sum of 540. I'm going to write sum. Okay, step 2, this is a 2-step process. First, you got to add up all the numbers to get the sum. Step 2, now you divide the sum by how many numbers were in that set of data. How many tests did I have? 6. So I'm going to take 540 and I'm going to divide it by the 6 tests to figure out what my test mean or test average is. 6 goes into 54 9 times. And then 6 goes into 0 times. So my average or my mean is 90. So that means that you have even though you made a 79, an 86, and an 87, because of your 99, 97, and 92, it was enough to give you an average of a 90. So your test average is an A, even though you had a couple of grades that were below an A. If you can score high, that's how averages work. That's how your grades work. Okay, so that is mean. Mean is also called the average. Okay. The median, see that triangle there? The median is the middle data value. I always think of the middle data value. I always think of the green grassy section with trees that split the road down the middle a lot of times. That's called a median on the road. So if you've ever driven on a road and you see that grassy area in between the road that splits the cars going different directions, that is called a median. It's in the middle. Or hey diddle diddle, the median in the middle. Okay. All right. So moving down to find the median. The median is the middle data value. So to find the median of a set of data, the first and most important thing you have to do, because if you don't do this step, you're going to end up doing the wrong thing. The most important thing you have to do for the median is list all of your data from least to greatest. So it's going to give you a bunch of data. Okay, each one of these is a data point. I want to rewrite them so that they are in order least to greatest. So my least number is going to be 98, then 99, 99 again, 100, 101, 102, and 103. Something I like to typically do when I'm like working problems out is when I have a list of data like that, when I write it down, I cross it out. Then I write the next data down and I cross it out. That way I make sure that I have it all. But another thing I like to do is go back and recount. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces of data. I started with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I know that I've got all my pieces in there, but another good rule of thumb is just to cross out as you write, okay? All right, in an odd set, then, okay, let me go back, hang on. So after I write them all in order, the median, again, is the middle data value. So what do you think my median is going to be? The middle number, right here, in the middle, okay? So my median is 100. But that's easy because I have a middle number. But what if in an odd number set, yes, it's easy to find the middle number, but what if I have
4.
An even number set of data? What do you think I would have to do?
You find the middle of the two numbers.
Exactly. I would have to find the middle of the two middle numbers. So just for example, okay, my median here is 100. But what if my two middle numbers, what if I had 8 pieces of data? So say I had 104, sure. Okay. Now, 100 and 101 are my two medians. I cannot have two median numbers. You have to find the middle of those two middle numbers. Does everybody understand? So what's in between 100 and 101? 100.5 would then be your median. Okay? Okay. For the mode is the number that occurs the most. Mode, most. Okay? Let me change my color again. Mode is most. So it's the piece of data that shows up most often. But guess what? Just like I did median, I have to start out by listing all of my data in order least to greatest. So when you have mean, median, mode, range problems, the best thing to do is just go ahead and take that data, put it all in order least to greatest. So I have 98, 99, 99 again, 100, 101, 102, and 103. So what I'm looking for this time is the number that occurs the most or appears the most often. Do I have a number that appears the most? 99. So that's my mode. You can also have no mode. So if, for example, I only had this, pretend this 99 wasn't here. I only had 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103. Then I would say no mode because there is not a number that occurs the most. They all occur the same number of times. They all only show up one time. Okay?
Do you find the medium if there's 2?
If there's, good question. You can also have more than one mode. So if, for example, I had another 103, then my mode would then be 99 and 103 because they both show up the most. They like tied. They tied for the most. Okay? So you'd have to list both of them. The number one thing to remember with mode is you don't write 0. If there's no mode, if there's not a number that occurs more than one time, don't write 0 because 0 is a piece of data. 0 is a number. So you want to make sure you write no mode if that's the case. Okay? All right, do y'all notice this little piece over here? It says mode. Okay, I'm just going to fill that in most often so that that piece is completed. Okay, and the last one is range. Range, you start out the exact same way as you do with median and mode by listing all of your data from least to greatest. But range is when you find the difference between greatest number and least. So all of my data is going to go back in the same order we've been doing, least to greatest. And And this time I'm going to identify my largest number and my smallest number in that set of data. So I'm looking at the first number and the last number. If I've done it correctly and done least to greatest, it should be the first and the last. When I find the difference, what does that mean I'm doing?
Subtract.
I'm subtracting.
Subtract 98.
So I'm going to do 103, my biggest number, minus my smallest number, and that gives me a range of 5. Okay, that's our notes page. Now we're going to do some examples. We're going to look at several examples. Good. So another word for mean is average. The mean of a data set is the sum of the data values divided by the number of data values. The mean is a type of average that describes the typical value of a data set. So I have a completed example at the top. It gives me a table showing me the number of floors. It's showing me adding up all of those numbers together and then dividing by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. Remember, a fraction, this is showing like a division problem. So it's the same thing as a division problem. So you total up all of your pieces of data. You get 402, divide by 6. And then that means that each building has about 67 floors. It's an average. Okay, some have more, some have less, but on average, it's about 67 floors. Okay, so let's look at our first example that we'll do together. It says, find and interpret the mean of the data for number 1. So it's money saved each month, okay? So what do you think I need to do first? What am I going to do first with all of this data?
Add everything up.
I'm going to add it all together. So I have 8 plus 7, or you can group them however you want. Compatible numbers are great. So I can see that 7 and 3, that makes 10. 5 and 5 makes another 10. So I'm already up to 20. Do you see how I'm grouping my numbers that work nicely together? You can list them all out in order. It doesn't matter. I like to pull out numbers that I can do in my head. So 7 and 3 make 10. 5 and 5 make 10. That's $20. 8 and 12 makes 20. So 20 plus 20 is 40. Plus 12 more is 52. Plus 4 is $56. Now I got to divide 56 by how many pieces of data? 8. 56 divided by 8 is? 7. So the average or the mean is $7. Okay. Number 2, we're going to do another one together. It says a number of states visited by several students. So we maybe took a poll in a class and we took up all of the data, how many states each student visited. So we have 3, 2, 1, 4, 5, 7, 3, 9, 2. Okay, again, I'm going to group my numbers together and cross them out as I'm adding. So I know that 7 and 3 makes 10. And then 1 and 9 makes another 10, so I'm up to 20. 3 and 2 is 5, plus another 5 is another 10. So now I'm up to 30. Plus 4, which is 34, plus 2 is 36. So 36 divided by how many pieces of data? 8. No, 9.
Oh, 9. 4. 4, yeah.
So then it would be 4 states.
Dang it, bro. I lost my streak.
Okay, we're going to do number 3 together. These are bigger numbers now. Okay, so it says movie theater capacity. We want to find the average number of people that a movie theater can hold. These are a bunch of different movie theaters and what their capacities are. Capacity means the number of people that can fit in there. We want to find what the average theater holds. So we're going to add up all of these numbers together.
Whoa.
So I have 246, 245, 235, 236, 275, 217, 269, 226, and 256. I just went in order. These are all such big numbers. I just went in order that they were listed. So I'm going to go back and recount all of my pieces of data and make sure I wrote down the correct numbers. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, perfect. I can add them.
It's going to be a lot of adding.
Okay, so the 2 5s are 10,
Yep.
plus 5 is 15.
Okay, so 5 and 5, these make 10.
And then there's another 5.
So
I can't read
15.
this.
So 15. And then 15 plus 6, I'm just going to go back to the top and work my way down. So 15 plus 6 is 21, plus 6 is 27, plus 8 is 35, plus 7 is 42, plus 9, 51, 57, and 63. Okay. We haven't done this much addition in a while. And if I'm writing, you're writing. Because if I have it, you have it. If I'm doing, you're doing. So if I have this on my paper, you should also have this on your paper. Okay. 6 plus 4 is 10. Plus 4 is 14. 17, 20, 27, 28, 34, 36, 41. Okay, now I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, plus 4 is 22. Okay, so I'm going to divide 22, 13 by how many?
A 9.
9, because there's 9 pieces of data.
It's going to be a big number.
So 9 goes into 22 twice, which is 18. Once I subtract, I have 4 left over. Yep. Now 9 goes into 41 4 times, which is 36. And that's going to be 5 left over. Bring down the 3. 9 goes into 53.
6.
4 times. Wait, 5. 5.
5 times, which is 45. Now I want you to think about what is happening if I were to continue going on. This would be 8, but I can't have remainder people. I can't have like remainder 8. Like it's how many on average does a movie theater hold? Okay, so on average, I'm going to round this to what?
Round it up.
245. It's just 245. I can't count that remainder as an additional person. Okay, so it's just 245 people.
That was a big number.
Okay, to save time, we're going to skip number 4, but you can always go back and do that one later just for additional practice if you want to. Okay. Now we're going to focus on the other 3, median, mode, and range. Okay, you have your definitions here again. You have examples of each one in case you need to go and see some examples. We are going to work through some examples together, starting with number 1 at the very bottom of that first page. It says, find the median mode. Notice how they put S in parentheses because there could be more than one mode. There could be multiple modes, and range of the data. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is rewrite my data in order from least to greatest. So 495 is the first number. Then 540. Then 560. Next 570, 625, and then 710. Okay, so for median, do I have one middle number? No. So here's a great example of what I have to do when I have 2 middle numbers. I have to take the 2 numbers that are in the middle, which are, I'm going to color code these.
560 and 570.
Right. So 560 and 570. So what's right in the middle of 560 and Yes, 565. So my median equals 565. Now my mode. I want to look for any numbers that are repeated more than once. Do I have a mode?
No.
I don't. So remember, I don't put 0. I write the words no mode because there's not a number that repeats. And then last but not least is range, which means I'm going to take my smallest number from my biggest number. And I'm going to do 710 minus 495.
215.
Yep, that's what I got. So 215 is your range of that set of data. Okay. On this page, we're still doing the same thing. This one's already done for us. I'm just going to quickly explain through it. We've seen line plots before. So sometimes you're going to be given like a graph or a line plot, and you have to interpret the data from that graph. So on this one, it's asking me to find the mean, the median, the mode, and the range just based on what is shown here. It's not listing out my data for me. I'd have to go through and list it out. So that means that if I have 1x above 4, that means that I have 4. Okay, so if I was actually listing out my data, I would have 4, 6, because I have 1x above 6, 7, 7, 7, 8. Y'all see how that works? 8. Each x represents how many of those pieces of data I have. 9, 9, and so on. So just by looking at this, my mode is easy to see. The mode is going to be the one that's the highest up. Yeah, I have 3 7s. So 7 would be my mode. My median, if you don't want to list it all out, you can go, okay, I'm going to mark out my smallest to my biggest, then my next smallest, next biggest. I'm going to keep crossing these out until I end up at the middle, which is 8. For the mean, you do have to add them all up and divide by how many x's there are. So it's showing you that piece. And then 13, my range, minus my smallest 4 is 9. Okay, so let's do one of these together. This will be the last one that we do. Okay, so on this, it wants us to find the median, the mean, the mode, and the range. So I'm going to start with the mean, which means I've got to add up all of these numbers. So I have 1 3 plus 1 4 makes 7, plus 1 5 makes 12, plus 2 6s is another
12.
6 plus 6 is 12. So now I'm up to 24 total just in these pieces of data. Plus 14, hold on. So 24 plus 14, because there's 2 7s, that gives you 38. Plus 8 is 46, plus another 8 is 54, plus 9 is 63. So I'm going to do 63 divided by how many pieces of data do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
63.
So 63 divided by 10 means that my mean is going to be 6.3. Okay, now for median. Median is the middle number. So 1, cross out both of my end numbers. Cross out my next. Keep going. Uh-oh, what happens?
Oh no.
I'm left with a 6 and I'm left with a 7. So what's right in between 6 and 7?
6.5.
6.5. Or 6.5 if you want to write it like a fraction. The mode. Here's a great example of having more than one mode. I have 3 numbers that repeat. They show up more than once.
So 6, 7, 8.
So mode would be 6, 7, and 8. And then my range, I take my biggest number minus my smallest number of data.
9 minus 3 equals
So 9 minus 3 equals 6. Okay. We're not going to do the dig deeper just because of time's sake. I want to make sure you get your practice and your review. So you do have homework tonight.